The 27th of May, 1941. My little sweetheart and dearest darling, we just heard on the radio about our poor, brave comrades on the battleship Bismarck. We're very moved by the unfortunate situation and the fate which has befallen these men at sea. They fought and died for us, but live on in us. Isn't it strange how tragedies like this one bring people closer together? It's because we admire and pity these heroes. I'm sure that you back home in Nuremberg feel the same way. It's just so damn unfortunate and unfair that the best and bravest men always must die. We want to and will avenge the deaths of our comrades. We are certain of this. An individual is comparatively insignificant in war, and yet individual sacrifice in the struggle for an ideal is not in vain. Peace and victory will come from these sacrifices, and today we believe, in spite of everything we've heard, that there'll be a speedy end to this war. A few days ago I told you about the accident which Roland and I had. Today my superiors questioned me about this incident, and my commander told me that I would probably get 2 or 3 weeks in the guardhouse because I didn't tell the driver, who is a lieutenant, to drive more slowly. Isn't that ridiculous? I can't understand this decision, but I really don't give a damn. I only hope that my dear comrade Roland will recover completely. Unfortunately, the doctors feel that he will have a permanently stiff leg. The X-rays show that the knee joint of his right leg has been severely damaged. This afternoon I wanted to visit him, but my duties here prevented me from going. I'm just terribly sorry for him and just can't imagine what he'll do if he indeed will end up with a stiff leg. And they want to arrest me. I just can't understand it. If that happens, of course, I won't be able to see you at all. It certainly wasn't my fault. Why should I, a sergeant, have to warn a lieutenant to drive more slowly? For you and the baby, I send my best wishes. The 30th of May, 1941. Dear Mother, it took me a couple of days to get over your letter and I still can't comprehend it. I have given this letter much thought and contemplation. I am much calmer now and have come to the conclusion that what is at fault are the difficult times in which we live. I do think, though, that in times like these, people ought to grow more supportive of each other, be more tied to their children, and become closer and should not quarrel. I would never have guessed that you judge my father-in-law Gustav the way you do. He never did you or father any harm, just as you never harmed him. Do you know what the worst thing in the world is? It's hatred. Hatred ruins entire peoples, and certainly can ruin individuals as well. And here I sit, far away from home, and I've got to read letters about all of these quarrels. It certainly is a depressing feeling for me. Unfortunately, I can't get away from here. Otherwise, I'm certain that I could have smoothed over these quarrels. I'm terribly disappointed that I won't be able to witness the birth of my first child. At that time, we shall no longer be stationed here. Believe me, those are real worries. Well, Maddie is at home now in Nuremberg with her parents, and that situation will also resolve itself. I don't want to judge you, but as a human being who is rational and has feelings, I would like to give you all a little bit of advice. Please try to get along with each other. This present situation is unbearable. Do you think that it's comforting to me so far away from home and about to enter battle to know that my loved ones at home are quarrelling? Please consider this and act accordingly. One thing I know for sure that will hold true as long as I live is that I honour you as my parents and I love you. But I will always support my wife and stand firmly behind her, no matter what happens. I wish you a speedy recovery from your ill health and remain forever. The 3rd of June, 1941. My dearest darling, I can understand your pain and sorrow because you have to be so alone now. Yet I can't provide any comfort or any consolation. Indeed, I must ask you to be strong and firm. Look, my dear, your husband today stands in the midst of a proud and difficult time. He is a soldier, not a civilian, and as a soldier he has duties to his fatherland. These duties are important and sacred. You must learn today, even if it hurts, that your personal desires and wishes must be set aside. After all, we're not fighting just for you and me. We are fighting for the existence of our entire people, of our Volk. All of us who live in these times cannot permit ourselves to make the mistake of only thinking of ourselves. Our vision must be for the future, because we are engaged in a struggle that will assure us of the well-being of our growing children and our nation. Please understand if I'm unable to write to you this week. The 12th of June, 1941. Dearest Maddie, by now our child has no doubt been born. If I only knew how you are feeling and whether it's a boy or a girl. I hope that everyone is kind and helpful to you now, and that they are giving you some of the love that I would give you if I were there. Please write to me as soon as you can and tell me what the baby looks like. Once the two of you are out of the hospital, please send me a photo right away. I want to have the two of you close to me, as I will always belong to you. The departure from our army base where we've been stationed so long was a real ceremony and very uplifting. We pulled out of there with our tanks decorated with flowers. The townspeople had given us many small presents and were very nice to us. That was several days ago, however, and now your big boy is sleeping on hay and straw. Since we are having such terrible weather all of a sudden, wind, rain and cold, I'm freezing. But since we're soldiers, that's not supposed to bother us. Now we're sitting here, waiting. We don't know what our next orders will be. Whatever they are, don't fear for me. We're rather isolated from the world. No beer, no wine. Isn't it funny how life can change all of a sudden? The other day I got a letter from the superintendent of schools in Weissenberg. He explained to me that he would like to consider me for a position in the secondary schools. Before we took off, I answered his letter and accepted his offer. I'm sure that you will agree with me that this is a good position inasmuch as it is secondary school. This would also mean more pay. At any rate, we would live in a small city. The subjects that I chose were history, physical education, and music. I know that you are in agreement with me. I'm with you in my thoughts. Stay healthy and strong. Lots of kisses to you both. The 13th of June, 1941. My dearest darling, the happiest day of my life is today. I will always remember it. I'll remember the moment when I opened the telegram with trembling hands. My shining eyes displayed my happiness, my pride, and my sincerest gratitude for what you have given me. I had to be alone for a while, alone with my thoughts and with you. Again and again I read the few words of the telegram. You have presented me with a boy, a strong baby boy. My darling Maddie, how shall I ever thank you? When I am again in your arms and when I'm with you and our son, then we shall experience nothing but good fortune and sunshine. I'll come back to you. I know it for certain. Sooner or later I'll come home to you forever. Now you hold this sacred present in your arms. You, a young, proud German mother. When you look at the baby, when you caress him and feed him, you'll see in this boy a piece of my happiness. I know that you two are infinitely happy, just as I am, and we also know that this child will make our love grow and bring us closer together. Next to me is your picture, the one you sent me not too long ago. My thoughts see you lying in a white bed with our lovely young child slumbering peacefully next to you. Kiss the baby, caress him for me. You, my dear wife, may be assured of my everlasting love. The 15th of June, 1941. Dear Father, first of all, let me shake your hand and congratulate you for having become a grandfather. I know you'll understand that I'm overjoyed and proud. So you were right several months ago when you guessed that the baby would be a boy. That in itself is enough of a reason to celebrate, but unfortunately there is no way that I can do that here. We have neither wine nor beer, and we're sitting here in the midst of nowhere. But be that as it may, it's more important for me to know that this child, this boy, will hopefully bring the members of the family back together again. It's sad, though, especially for my young wife, that I can't go home. The duty to the fatherland is probably more important at this point, and hopefully I'll be able to fulfill this duty soon in battle. I'm counting on it. For the time being, however, all of us in the unit are living quite a lonely existence, sleeping on hay. It's somewhat romantic, but it would be so much better if the weather were more cooperative. It's cold and rainy, and on occasions the sun peeks through, but generally it's like April. Today is Sunday, and you won't believe it. But we played soccer for 4 hours straight. It really was fun, especially since we have a number of good players in our ranks. I send my warmest greetings to you. The 15th of June, 1941. Dear Mrs. Friedrichs, I send you glad tidings of joy. My wife has presented me with a boy. You can imagine that I'm so happy and proud that I don't know what to do. I know what you can do, though. Get little Inge ready for the young fox. Maybe we'll be related in 20 years. In my present loneliness, I often think of those happy hours spent in your village of Rudinghoven. Let me only remember the happy hours. Let's forget all that gossip that was spread about me. I'm not interested in that anymore. My buddy Hire told me that your mother-in-law shed a tear or two because I, the ungrateful person that I am, didn't stop by to thank her for the couple of cups of coffee I had at her place. Sorry about that, but it's water under the bridge now. Too bad we don't sleep under those cosy red and white down comforters of yours anymore. Now straw and hay keep us warm. Pretty romantic, you might think, but not when you consider the nightly concerts orchestrated by a pack of rats. And I won't even mention the mosquito bites that cover my gorgeous body. Gentlemen, and now a glass of punch. Do you remember those bacchanalian pronouncements of yours? What nectar of the gods? And what quenches our thirst here? Sure, we have a couple of bottles of Rhine wine left, but that's it. There is no more. You are probably glad to be rid of us, thinking that we will never change for the better. Don't worry. Instead of engaging in drinking bouts, we now compete in athletic contests. 4 hours of soccer today, how about that? We have to toughen up our bodies and get ready for battle. Let's hope that our superiors don't test our patience again. We are ready. I send you hearty greetings and thank you once more for everything. The 17th of June, 1941. Dearest darling, my dear little Horsti, today I received your first letter after the birth of our son, and I have to read it over and over because I am so extremely happy. At least now I can picture the little one, and I'm able to see him right in front of me with his blue eyes, his stubby nose, and the pronounced indentation of his upper lip. I suppose it is only proper that he has inherited traits from both of us. Maddie, I know that our child is so sweet, and one day he'll become a brave fellow, even though at birth he displayed 2 deep wrinkles on his little forehead. You have these wrinkles too, you know, but only when you're angry. I'm looking forward to rearing and teaching our boy with you, and am certain that our efforts will have positive results. Our status at present here at this temporary base is still uncertain. No one knows what is going to happen to us, but we feel that some kind of decision will be forthcoming in a matter of days, if not in a matter of hours. We all sense that something is about to happen. Don't worry about me. When I come home to you, my love for you will be much more mature since it has ripened in the experience and duration of this struggle. I'm calm, collected, and at peace, and look forward to the ensuing battle, because I know that I must live for you. I feel that you are with me and that you are protecting me. My deepest love for you and the baby. The 25th of June, 1941. Dearly beloved Maddie, today was a day of pride for us all. Victoriously we marched into Vilnius, Lithuania, cheered on by the jubilant citizens. Yesterday I knocked off a Russian tank, as I had done 2 days ago. If I get in another attack, I'll receive my first battle stripes. War is half as bad as it sounds, and one thing is plain as day. The Russians are fleeing everywhere, and we follow them. All of us believe in early victory. Dear Maddie, just think of the time when I'll be able to be with you again. Don't worry about me, I will return. Now we must march on. I send my love to you. Kiss my dear son Horsti for me. Your puppy, the 28th of June, 1941. My dearest wife, my dear little Horsti. After 3 days of heavy fighting, we were finally granted a well-deserved day of rest. Unfortunately, there is some maintenance work that has to be done. How are you, my 2 loved ones? Since I received your postcard several days ago, I haven't heard from you. I suppose it's because of the postal delivery, which, because of the huge distances now, only comes to us every 3 or 4 days. I myself am fine and healthy, and today I received my first war decoration from our commander, namely the Tank Assault Medal. I wear it proudly and hope you are proud of me. Up to now, all of the troops have had to accomplish quite a bit. The same goes for our machines and tanks. But nevertheless, we're going to show those Bolshevik bums who's who around here. They fight like hired hands, not like soldiers, no matter if they are men, women or children on the front lines. They're all no better than a bunch of scoundrels. By now, half of Europe is mobilized. The entry of Spain and Hungary on our side against this Bolshevik archenemy of the world overjoyed us all. Yes, Europe stands under the leadership of our beloved Führer Adolf Hitler, and he'll reshape it for a better future. The entry of all these volunteer armies into this war will cause the war to be over soon. The impressions that the battles have left on me will be with me forever. Believe me, dearest, when you see me again, you will face quite a different person. A person who has learned the harsh command. I will survive. You can't afford to be soft in war, otherwise you will die. No, you must be tough. Indeed, you have to be pitiless and relentless. Don't I sound like a different person to you? Deep down in my heart, I remain a good person, and my love for you and our son will never diminish. Never. This love will increase, as will my longing for you. I kiss you and remain forever, the 5th of July, 1941. My darling wife, my dear boy, we have fought in battle many days now, and we have defeated the enemy wherever we have encountered him. Let me tell you that Russia is nothing but misery, poverty, and depravity. That is Bolshevism. It is late in the evening now and quite dark already. We only wait for our expected orders. Mount your tanks, start your engines, move out. Maddy, if you were only here and could see me, tanned by the sun, dusty and dirty, with eyes as clear as a falcon. Our losses have been minimal and our success is great. This war will be over soon, because already we are fighting against only fragmented opposition. How are the two of you? I cannot wait until the moment of my return. It will be wonderful. My return is certain. Intimate kisses to you, puppy. P.S. Greet your parents and my mother. The 11th of July, 1941. Dearest darling, my dear little horsey. Today our united forces captured the Russian city of Vitebsk. It is a large city and has been totally destroyed. Most of the destruction, however, came at the hands of the Russians. Now we are only several hundred kilometers away from Moscow, and I'm certain that we will soon be in the enemy's capital. At any rate, these Russian dogs are now on the run. Sometimes I'm tempted to feel sorry for them, because many of the soldiers are young boys, hardly 16 or 17 years old, but you can't afford to have pity on them. For the time being, I am in a safe spot, if I only had some water to wash myself. The dirt and the dust causes my skin to itch, and my beard is growing longer and longer. Wouldn't you like to kiss me now? I'm sure you can see the dirt on the paper on which I write. While some of us are writing, a couple of other comrades are singing. It's not melodious, I mean they aren't singers, but their song comes from the heart. Here is what they are singing. Brave little soldier's woman, wait and be patient. Soon I will return to you. I think of you all the time, and I kiss and hug you both. The 15th of July, 1941. Dearest darling, my dear little boy, finally another day of rest for men and machines. It feels good. You know, on a day like this, you can at least spend some time cleaning everything. For the first time in a long time, I have had a chance to take a bath. That was a marvelous, refreshing feeling. My entire body felt like it had been reborn. Before that, however, we had to service our tank, clean it, repair some things, and get it back into tip-top shape. You can't imagine what this dust and dirt does to the machines and to the engines. We are now positioned outside the city of Smolensk and have penetrated the highly acclaimed Stalin lines. I would imagine that within 8 to 10 days this campaign will be over. Yes, you can be proud of the German soldiers and the military accomplishments of our men. The Russian prisoners all look emaciated. They haven't had anything to eat for days. They too are very happy that this war will be over soon. A fellow from the Ukraine was so happy to be taken captive that he almost crushed me while embracing me. I gave him a ride for a couple of miles. And how are the two of you? I hope you're feeling well. I greet and kiss the 17th of July, 1941. Sweet Maddy. My dear son, yesterday we moved past Smolensk on the city's northern fringe and are now heading toward Moscow. Russian opposition is weak and localized, and wherever we meet them, they are forced to flee. Our Air Force, in particular the Stuka attack bombers, actively support our efforts. Our comrades from the Air Force are top-notch guys. Yesterday I participated in my 12th attack. Some of these attacks were more difficult than others. With 12 attacks under my belt, I have now caught up to the boys who had a head start in France. You can imagine that I'm very proud of this achievement. Recent orders have moved us seasoned veterans to the rear, so that others have a chance to engage in battle. That makes sense to us, But it wasn't necessarily right because all of us veterans had become accustomed to battle and were at ease on the front line. These newcomers must first earn their seasoned status. Mahdi, a few words about Russia. All those who today still see any kind of salvation in Bolshevism should be led into this paradise. To sum it up with one phrase, it's terrible. When I get back, I will tell you endless horror stories about Russia. Yesterday, for instance, we saw our first women soldiers, Russian women, their hair shorn, in uniform. And these pigs fired on our decent German soldiers from ambush positions. In my thoughts, I hold you in my arms and kiss your lips and the cheeks of my son. The 20th of July, 1941. My dearest wife, my dear son. A month ago today, we crossed the enemy's border, inspired by our burning desire to beat him wherever we encountered him. With this sacred resolve in mind, we are about to engage in the biggest, most destructive battle ever. What we have accomplished up to now can only be judged by someone who participated in these campaigns. Our division, which reaped so much glory in the West, demonstrated again that it is one of the best. Because of our success, our general received the Knight's Cross from the Führer. We're very proud of our accomplishments. Today is Sunday, and for a change the sun is shining. It had rained heavily in the last couple of days, but now in clear weather our Stuka dive bombers are once again on the prowl. These pilots are really something. Wherever they strike, they create havoc and destruction. Well, here I sit, lost in thought while I gaze across the wide, monotonous Russian land. My thoughts and wishes travel home to you. I see you, my dearest darling, and I can even see my little boy. As I see you, I feel how much I love you. Are your parents at home again? Where were you during their vacation? I hope that all of you are in good health. I hug and kiss you. Dear Father, it's been quite a while since you wrote to me and informed me of your transfer. When I received your letter, we were already on the march against the enemy. The weather was incredibly hot, and dust and dirt were our constant companions. From the north of East Prussia, we advanced over Kalvaria to Alytus. There I was involved in the biggest tank battle in history. I never believed that I would be able to enter my first battle so calmly. The enemy was thrown back with heavy losses. Immediately we pursued them. On the third day of the campaign, we reached Vilnius. The Lithuanian civilians had staged an incredible reception for us. We were literally showered with flowers. After a day's rest, we continued in the direction of Minsk. I was always up front in my tank, creating gaps in the enemy lines. Special radio announcements reported our accomplishments. When we heard them outside of Minsk, we were overwhelmed. Our company was given special orders, and we carried them out to everyone's satisfaction. For a week, during our attack of Lapel and further on in Vitebsk, I was always in the lead with my tank. I will never forget those battle experiences. Now we are already on the other side of Smolensk. All of my comrades and I who participated in the last 12 attacks have now been taken out of the front lines and given some rest. But I know that I will get my tank back and will get to the front lines again. For me, the battle itself is the biggest adventure and experience. During our attack on Minsk, I received the Tank Assault Medal, and I have been recommended to receive the Iron Cross, 2nd class. Yes, we're moving forward towards victory and peace. I hope that you are in the best of health. I greet you with our old battle cry, Germany Sieg Heil. Your loyal son, Karl the 3rd of August, 1941. Dearest darling, my dear boy, I've gotten some kind of a rash. I'm continually scratching my entire body. That's how bad it is. I'm blaming the Russian drinking water for it. The water is hardly good enough to wash with, so I guess I really shouldn't drink it. I can only tell you to be glad that you folks back home don't have to look at this blessed Soviet Russia. These scoundrels have been dropping idiotic pamphlets from their airplanes, asking us to surrender our arms and defect to their side. It really is laughable, since those bums on the other side surely know that their time is up. All you have to do is look at the Russian prisoners. Hardly ever do you see the face of a person who seems rational and intelligent. They all look emaciated, and the wild, half-crazy look in their eyes makes them appear like imbeciles. And these scoundrels, led by Jews and criminals, wanted to imprint their stamp on Europe, indeed on the world. Thank God that our Führer, Adolf Hitler, is preventing this from happening. We're all of the opinion that it is merely a matter of weeks before these Russians will have to give up. Once they do, England will fall as well, and then I will come home to you forever, never to leave again. That's what I long for with all my heart. Hugs and kisses. The 3rd of August, 1941. My dear parents, yesterday I received your second package from Meerhofen. I really was pleased with the contents. I shared the excellent tobacco and the quality cigarette paper with my comrades, since that is the custom. No doubt you, dear father, remember this custom from the Great War. Cigarettes seem to be soldiers' bread, and sometimes they are more important than the food we get. Russian cigarettes are for the birds. Mon Dieu, we would have said in France. But aside from that, we're feeling fine. After 6 weeks of fighting, we've become accustomed to combat, and so it doesn't bother us anymore. Artillery fire, or even an occasional inaccurately thrown bomb from the enemy, doesn't disturb us. We've become stoic, and I guess you could say that we are simply old soldiers. This war against these subhuman beings is about over. It's almost insulting when you consider that drunken Russian criminals have been let loose against us. We really let them have it. They are scoundrels, the mere scum of the earth. Naturally, they are not a match for us German soldiers. Not even their biggest tanks can protect them. A few simple birch crosses speak of the heroism of our comrades. We have decorated these graves with the soldiers' steel helmets, or with the black cap of the tank troops. They gave their lives for Germany, and for those of us who are alive, there is only one motto: fight on to the final victory. My hearty greetings and Sieg Heil. Your Karl, the 4th of August, 1941. Dear Father, from your letter of June 20th, I can see that you are busy with important assignments. Perhaps you've been reassigned and are now close to me in Russia. Yes, your prediction of my baptism of fire has come true. The change in me from a home soldier to a frontline soldier was so sudden that I hardly noticed the transition. From the very first shot on, the choice was a simple one. It's either the enemy or me. That's been my motto from the start. You simply can't afford to think in war. Contemplation could cause your death. On the contrary, you must take aim at the enemy. Keep your finger on the trigger, and come hell or high water, you must keep self-preservation uppermost in your mind. You can imagine that we have pulled off a couple of nifty stunts, especially with the help of you guys in the Air Force. We've really gotten to know the flyboys in this war. Without exception, they are top-notch guys and bring death and destruction to the enemy. The pitiful hordes on the other side are nothing but felons who are driven by alcohol and the threat of pistols pointed at their heads. There is no troop morale, and they are at best cannon fodder. You should read the pamphlets that they drop from the sky with better accuracy than their bombs. Desert, join the Bolsheviks. You'll be safe with us. They are nothing but a bunch of assholes. Excuse the expression, but there simply is no other term for them. Having encountered these Bolshevik hordes and having seen how they live has made a lasting impression on me. Everyone, even the last doubter, knows today that the battle against these subhumans, who've been whipped into a frenzy by the Jews, was not only necessary, but came in the nick of time. Our Führer has saved Europe from certain chaos, and so we move on to the final battle and victory. I shake your hand and greet you. Germany, Sieg Heil. Your loyal son, Karl, the 15th of August, 1941. My dearest Mardi, my little Horsti, last night we had a little party for a number of comrades who've been reassigned back to the fatherland. In the midst of the celebration, we sang some German folk songs under the Russian sky. Our songs sounded almost like prayers in this wretched Russian land. While we sang, our native Germany materialized in front of us. Our homeland seemed more magnificent and beautiful than ever before. Our thoughts travelled west towards home, to wife and child, to parents and sisters, to all of those for whom we fight out here. What great strength can be found in German song. Even if we have to do without a lot of things out here, no one can take those magnificent songs away from us. My darling, we've been camping out under the open sky for weeks now. We have slept in our tanks, we have bedded down at night without a roof over us, and for the time being we are holed up in tents. We have forgotten what a house and a nicely furnished room looks like. We no longer have an inkling what comfort is, because since the beginning of this campaign we haven't seen any comfortable rooms or houses. No matter where you look, there is nothing but dirty, filthy blockhouses. You can't find a trace of culture anywhere. We now realize what our great German fatherland has given its children. There exists only one Germany in the entire world, in love and loyalty, the 16th of August, 1941. Dear Father, I was extremely pleased to finally receive a letter from you. At least I now know that you are alive and well and stationed in a new place. Your letter was underway from the 27th of June until the 15th of July. That in itself, I guess, is an indication of how great the distance is between us now. For a while I thought you were still in the West. I asked every air defense soldier I ran into about you, but no one could tell me anything about your whereabouts. A few days ago I was up front again because the front unit was a tank short, so once again I was engaged in a spearhead attack. At the conclusion of this skirmish, my boss decorated me with the Iron Cross Second Class. Naturally, I'm very proud of this decoration, and I now wear the black, white and red ribbon next to my tank assault medal. No matter where the enemy is, it is certain that we will beat him. Dear Father, we have fought against Russian tanks which seemed invincible because of their armor plating. However, our enthusiasm and spirited attack beat them every time. You know what bad shape the Russian tank units are in today, and much of that is due to our aggressive attacks. Come what may, we have only one thing in mind, and that is to fight and to win. Remain healthy and Sieg Heil. Your loyal son, Karl, the 22nd of August, 1941. My dearest darling, my little boy, the triumphant sounds of marches resonate throughout the forest in which we are presently camped. These are mighty and glorious sounds, with the fanfares of the trumpet seeming to announce imminent victory. No, this is no dream, but our regimental band is playing today. The heavy, solid harmony of this music gives you the necessary strength to carry on. When I hear and feel this music, I'm always jubilant. What an immense contrast this Russian land is to our homeland. The people here can't give you anything because they have nothing. They possess nothing. Sometimes we feel lonely in this vast land. You should hear how fervently we sing our simple folk songs, hoping that you at home can hear them. I have been reading some books lately. Yesterday, for instance, I finished a beautiful novel entitled Heather Schoolmaster Uwe Karsten. Do you know this novel? Are you familiar with the great figure of this teacher and his ceaseless love and longing for his home? The language is wonderful, and I spent some happy hours reading the book. I must read in order to have any intellectual stimulus in this desolate land. I think of you every day, and I never go to sleep without looking at your picture. Then I can fall asleep peacefully and serenely, because I know that you, with your loving heart, with your prayers and your belief in me, protect me. I believe more than ever before that one day soon the world will be a better, more beautiful place than ever before. Please rock our boy in your arms and tell him of his father who loves him so much. The 24th of August, 1941. My dear mother, I want to thank you very much for your letter of August 9th. You, Maddie, and others at home write to me so nicely about my little boy that every time I hear about him, I become very happy and proud. These dear words mean so much to me out here at the front, so far away from home. I'm very pleased to hear that our child has created some harmony and love at home. Today is Sunday. It's really a day like any other day, but nevertheless it seems to be a holiday for me because not only did I get your letter, but also one from my wife that included 3 pictures of Horsti. I guess tomorrow Maddie will start teaching again in Rostal. Do you know? Mother, how much I long to be back teaching my elementary school students. Just thinking about it makes me happy. Soon this war out here will be over, and then we will all live in peace and happiness. We'll be able to devote our time to the future of our children, and that's why I gladly sacrifice my time and energy during this war. In spite of the battles, however, my thoughts often travel homeward, and then I'm able to picture my homeland, my Franconia, with all the things that I love about it. Please greet everyone at home. For you, I will always be. The 27th of August, 1941. My dear father, a few days ago the tanks were started up again, and they rumbled towards the front. We shook hands with our comrades, and off they went. Some of us, me included, are recuperating several kilometers behind the front line, and are staying in one of these endless, monotonous Russian forests. It certainly is a strange feeling for me to be here, and not in the midst of the fighting. But our company commander is of the opinion that, if possible, all members of the company should have the opportunity to fight at the front. Our losses so far have been minimal. This is due to excellent leadership and magnificent soldiering spirit. The Bolsheviks, however, who are under tremendous political pressure to win, are defending themselves desperately, and their morale is low. Their losses are heavy. We're of the opinion that it's only a matter of weeks now until the final battles around St. Petersburg and in the Ukraine will be fought. We have news from the Ukraine that Gomel has fallen, and we are overjoyed. What will the world say when England, in spite of this immense Russian battlefront, receives its knockout blow? All I can say here is poor Churchill and Roosevelt. I'm convinced that the Russian army, decimated and beaten, will be destroyed by the end of this year. I'm very glad that my biggest worry, namely troubles at home, has finally been solved. Maddie started teaching school again on the 25th of August, and apparently she and Mother are now getting along well. They are quite concerned about our little boy. I'm mighty proud of him and can't wait to see him. I'm looking forward to the day when you, Uncle Willie and I can drink with him while playing cards back home at the Eckert Inn. In the meantime, however, duty calls, and our motto is, for Führer and Germany. I shake your hand and know that Elam looking into proud eyes. The 28th of August, 19:1. My dearest Maddie, today I have to send all your correspondence back to you because it is now forbidden to take letters to the front. I'm going to send them in 4 envelopes. 111 send 2 envelopes to you. 1 to your mother in Nuremberg, and the 4th I will address to my mother. Please take good care of these letters because they were, especially after the difficult hours in battle, a source of much joy and pleasure to me. Of course, you know what I intend to do with them once I return. I want to use them as a resource for my literary project. Oh, Maddie, once I'm back with you, I will get straight to work. All my work will be for you and for little Horsti. The letter that I received from you yesterday included 2 enlarged photographs of our little son. I can't believe how sweet he is. I love you very much. The 2nd of September, 1941. My dearest darling, my dear little Horsti, it is already September and fall has come. The arrival of fall wasn't exactly pleasant because it's been raining cats and dogs since yesterday. The raindrops are drumming on our tent, and we're very happy that the tent is located on a high, dry spot. We built up the ground beneath it so that the water runs off well. At the same time, this protects us from the cold, which at night now is quite noticeable. When night falls, the 3 of us, all non-coms, huddle close together and speak about our loved ones at home and about our fatherland. Our language is simple. It's the language of comrades. Our words come from the heart and carry a lot of emotion. Sometimes we even sing one of our beautiful old folk songs, and these sometimes sound like prayers. After that, we're happy and serene. I ask myself when I will be able to go home, but I must not give this thought much priority, even though it is my deepest wish. On Sunday, the day before yesterday, I read another Schroer book entitled The Avalanche of St. Thomas. I haven't told you, but I'm in charge of our small library here, and I find great pleasure in this job. Nothing is more stimulating in this monotonous Russia than a good book. Sometimes on weekend mornings I even instruct my comrades in history and geography. Every now and then I have enthusiastic listeners. Well, you have to do what you can to keep your mind active out here. Yesterday I sent off the promised money for Horsti. I hope that you have received the other 200 Reichsmarks by now. I, in turn, have received your little care package and want to thank you very much for it. It's raining harder now and darkness has fallen. I greet you and kiss you. The 2nd of September, 1941. My dear mother, September has brought us bad weather. Maddie has probably told you all about the rain since I wrote to her about it. All I can say is that Russia is like a big pigsty. It's an incredible country. When you take into consideration our recent achievements and successes in battle, you can't help but believe that this war will be over at the end of this year. Rivol has fallen. Leningrad is encircled. We have had tremendous successes in the south. The achievements of the army have been so magnificent that one can certainly look with great pride upon them. No matter how the Russian soldiers defend themselves, they have had it. They're desperate and right now are driven towards the front with threats from their political commissars. Their last hour has come. I often look at the pictures of my little boy and become incredibly happy. Horsti is already 3 months old, and I, his father, haven't even seen him. You must understand that I'm yearning to see my little boy and to get back to my family. Nevertheless, the duty towards our fatherland is more important at the moment. It is also a sacred duty, and we all know that we're fighting for the existence and survival of our people. Stay healthy and greet everyone in Rostov.